The UK economy shrank by 9.9% in 2020. That's the biggest contraction since 1709. But despite this, we are in the midst of a property boom. We have first-time buyers coming to the market, people looking to move up and down the property ladder, as well as foreign buyers. But the different forms of property tenure in England and Wales can be confusing. So if you're in the process of purchasing property in England and Wales, then it's important to understand some of the distinctions between freehold and leasehold property ownership. And that is what we're going to be talking about in this post today. Hi, my name is Jonathan Achampong and I'm a property lawyer specialising in residential property law. Now, in very basic terms, freehold proprietorship means that subject to statutory controls, common law and encumbrances made by deed, the freehold owner is entitled to the land beneath the surface of the land and any buildings constructed upon it, as well as the airspace above the surface of the land, in perpetuity, so for an indefinite period of time. Leasehold proprietorship, on the other hand, implies the existence of a lease. So what is a lease? A lease is a written agreement between at least two parties, a landlord and a tenant, in which the landlord will allow the tenant to exclusively occupy the property for a predefined period of time. So that may be 99 years or 125 years or 999 years. During the term of the lease, the tenant will owe a range of obligations towards the landlord, such as an obligation to pay ground rent or to pay service charges and not to carry out structural alterations without the landlord's prior written approval. The landlord will owe a range of obligations towards the tenant, such as an obligation to maintain the building and an obligation to insure the building and a duty to allow the tenant to enjoy the property without undue interference. At the end of the term of the lease, the tenant must hand the property back to the landlord. So as you can see, there are some very important distinctions between freehold and leasehold property ownership. Generally speaking, a freehold owner doesn't have to worry about paying ground rent or paying service charges or having to hand the property back to a landlord. So in many ways, freehold property ownership is seen as a more complete form of property tenure. But the question of whether purchasing a freehold or leasehold property works for you will entirely depend on your circumstances. It's just that it's important to understand some of those distinctions between freehold and leasehold property ownership. If you found this video useful, then by all means do hit the like, share or follow button. Once again, my name is Jonathan Achampong. I'm a property lawyer specialising in residential property law, and I'll be back again soon with more replies to frequently asked conveyancing questions.